Now it's time to welcome our next guest, Jerry Slusiewicz, founder of Pacific Financial Planners. He's also the host of Your Money Talks radio show. Jerry, thanks so much for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
So I always love picking your brains, whether it's here on the show or in our study group, because we tend to think a lot alike. But I'd like to get your own feedback as to why you think today so many Americans feel that they're behind the eight ball when it comes to retirement, and frankly, what they can do to fix it if they feel that way.
Well, again, it's a very complicated question, Dave, but the statistics are glaring that a lot of people are behind. The majority of people are behind on their savings. And I think they worry about it, but they don't take action. And sometimes it's the inaction that's causing the problem because, look, we're a consumer nation and people live for today and they're worried about now. And they always think that tomorrow will be the better time to start planning for the next day. And so they really spend way too much money for what they take in, and they make savings a final priority versus making it the top priority. The old adage is to pay yourself first, then pay your bills, and then see what's left for discretionary spending. But that lesson has not been taught to most American consumers.
So some are just not doing it because they want immediate gratification. I get that. But in the minute or so we have left in this segment, talk to us about the other group, the group that says, well, I know I need to do it, but I'm frozen with fear. I don't know where to start. I don't know what the best options are, so they do nothing. When those people walk into your office for the first time, how do you attempt to unfreeze them?
Well, the first thing I tell them is inaction is action. It's a decision. But what we start with is their budget. They really need to look at what they're spending and where they're spending their money, because that will help them understand if there's any room to create some freeing up of cash to put towards savings. So we start with the spending as opposed to the investment side of, what's the next best, stock or bond to buy. So that's really where they've got to start.
Got to start there. And then you have to make sure that Madison Avenue doesn't keep them from fulfilling that plan with all their great marketing efforts. So Jerry, we need to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in just a minute. And we'll be back with you also. I'm David Scranton. I'm here with Jerry Slusiewicz on the Income Generation, and we'll see you in a moment. Welcome back to the Income Generation. We're here talking with Jerry Slusiewicz, founder of Pacific Financial Partners. He's also the host of Your Money Talks radio show. Jerry, thanks so much for sticking around.
Thanks for having me.
So, it's funny, we were talking during a commercial break and you said, well, yeah, a lot of people come in behind the eight ball and haven't saved enough for retirement. But then you said, sometimes I get as many people coming to see me who maybe saved enough, they did okay, but then they sabotaged it subsequently. Talk to us about how one could unwittingly sabotage their retirement, even if it appears on the surface as though they've done enough.
You're absolutely correct, Dave. There's two groups, those who haven't saved enough and then those who have, but they are kind of hypnotized by the stock market, because that in the last 10 years might have got them to the position that they're in now of having enough money. And they're afraid to change strategies, so to speak. And our industry has done a very poor job. If you look at any commercials for, Fidelity or Vanguard on TV, it's all save for retirement, grow for retirement, get to retirement. And if people have won and they've got enough savings for retirement, they need to change that strategy to income from growth. And if they're sticking in the stock market, especially this stock market today, they could sabotage their retirement, as you said, Dave, and really be in for some trouble and end up in that other group where they don't have enough.
Now, you heard earlier on the show, Kathy DeWitt Dunn talking about annuities as a great strategy because they have guaranteed income and they go on forever to go from the growth, the G, to the I, the income. But what are some other strategies? In the minute and a half or so we have left in the segment, what are some of the other strategies that you think are things that people should at least consider in the income world once they get out of the growth world?
Well, as you know, Dave, there's a world of alternative income strategies out there, and it's not just bonds, in which a lot of financial advisors sell bond funds in lieu of bonds. I think that's a bait and switch out there, another cautionary tale in our industry. But individual bonds, there are things like real estate investment trusts and business development companies and other things that pay income. Now, those are on the higher risk of income that people can do, but they're less risky than the stock market. And even a thing called preferred stocks is another area that people can look at as saying, hey, look, this is a way to get some income with some safety and not the volatility of the overall, traditional S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Averages.
But our income generation viewers don't have to worry so much about the how. They just need to know there's people like you out there that know how to do it, and they need to know that when they build up enough points on their balance sheet to win the game of life, if I like to say, i.e. have enough money to retire, they need to focus less on offense and more on defense. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in a moment here on the Income Generation.